Hello guys, and welcome to Serge Zimaleta. In today's video, this is the fourth video I'm shooting today, and this video is going to be all about eBay and how to sell parts on eBay. You could be selling other things, it don't have to be just parts, but I'm selling parts, so I'm going to use parts as an example, but you could use anything else as an example, okay? But we're going to be talking a lot about parts because I'm a car guy, and I own 17 of them in my yard, so naturally it's a good idea for me to start a parts business, something I was contemplating all of these years, and I've started one this year in February, and right now we are in pretty much the end of June, and it's been successful. I don't know why I had to stretch like that, but sometimes I just want to like take it all in, you know. It's been really exciting. It's not what I expected. I expected slow growth, but I actually made a lot of money this year on eBay selling parts. And I did a lot of work to deserve that money. Lots of work, but not as much as I could have, you know, done. But there's certain limitations to everything, and partly is just like whenever you start something and it's completely new to you, there's a learning curve. And this is the learning curve that I'm going to share with you guys from what I've learned, because I really simplified this eBay thing to a science. I don't want to sound complicated, so don't think about science, okay? But I'm going to explain this thing, guys, in an easy way. So right now I'm standing in my garage, which is also my makeshift studio. This is a 16 by 24 garage. Most of you guys have one. If you want to have an eBay store and you have a garage, maybe park your car outside and use this space as your eBay store. I'm not going to be showing you right now inside my setup and everything, because I don't want to really do a lot of work where I'm going to be doing that. So I'd rather do that with a different setup, like with my GoPro or something, and show you guys how I work and what I do, and maybe give you guys a first person point of view as to like what am I really doing in here. But I will explain things very good, okay? So anyways, I'm going to answer stuff that is probably going to bother a lot of people, like when they're going to be starting something like eBay, like shipping. How do they do shipping? Like if an item sells, do you have to go multiple times to the post office? Do you have to stand in line and ship like that? Absolutely not, guys. Avoid doing that at all costs. Only do that when you need to. But try to simplify things like this. Work out of your own office, or in my case, garage. I'm working out of my garage. I don't park my car here anymore. I got a big kitchen size table over here. It is huge. It's got like 8 chairs, and that is like my shipping table. I weigh my packages on it. I package everything up on it. It's a really big working area. You don't have to have something that big. You could just have, well, you don't have to have like a big kitchen table, but I have one, so I'm using it. I use what I have. You could use folding tables, but tables make it a lot easier to actually work on. But anyways, here's the way I do things. I have a computer, like one computer that I'm working with, because actually it's really important. It is actually connected to a laser printer, and I'm keeping that simple because you could print a lot with a laser printer. The cost of printing is pretty much cheap. I already have like 2 additional toner cartridges. So far I'm on my second one. Because the original one already expired, because I was printing a lot of labels and stuff. So here's what I do. I take my cell phone, which is my iPhone 8 Plus. It's not the most modern phone, but man, it's still fast and it still does everything. It takes great pictures. Now with an iPhone, it's really awesome for eBay, because they have a way for removing the background where it makes the white background. So you might have taken it like on your carpet, you might have taken it on your bed, the picture, or you maybe go outside and put it on your like asphalt or like your concrete pad or whatever, or grass, but you could cut all that out as long as it was like good lighting. And it's really awesome how you could do that, like with this app. I will show you how that works, guys, but right now I just want to quickly explain some things. So what I do is I take pictures of the items that I want to sell with my phone. Once I take it with the phone, I will explain what I do with the item and how I sort and how I organize. That's going to be a little later. But once I take the picture with my phone, I also use my phone and to list the item. I downloaded the eBay app. I sign in. everything. So I post the item from there. I also simplify how I post stuff. Okay, I find a similar item for sale on eBay, and I use one button. It's called Sell Similar. That like simplifies stuff like that because I don't have to type a lot of that stuff out. So then I made a few mistakes by using their words, and it was like wrong stuff. I was not selling that. So yeah, I made those mistakes. But so just be observative and see what the title says. Make sure it's like if your item is new, then it's new. Because I've sold something that I said new, but it was actually used. And, you know, like nobody said it was a problem with the new or used, but it was just like wrong thing, you know. So, you know, mistakes can be made. So it's my fault for trying to like turbo list stuff and not really paying attention. But it allows me to list things really quickly. I could quickly, within an hour, I could easily list about 30 items. And according to every single video that I've seen, people are like, yeah, it's impossible. And it's like, you know, 15 items a day, like that's like max. Not really. I could list a lot. And I had like in a couple weeks listed like over $60,000 worth of items. And that's a lot of items. So a lot of it stuff is quantity, but still, that's a lot of items. So anyways, what I do is once I list with the phone and that item sells, then I basically take this item from, you know, wherever it's actually at. Maybe it's in the, like usually I use bins and I have them on the shelf. So I pull that bin and I get the item out. I lay it on my table. I package everything up. And I try to sometimes not seal it all the way because I don't know if I'm going to be sending a priority box or I'm going to be sending it with FedEx. Why am I forgetting this right now? And I know what you may be thinking. You might be thinking FedEx is expensive. But actually, guys, I found FedEx to be a lot of times cheaper than priority. Like, seriously. Like, way cheaper. And you might be thinking, like, well, why does that matter? Well, I offer free shipping. And in case you guys are interested in how that works, because I have, like, that little truck icon that appears. Fast and free. That's the way I like to handle things. Everybody likes to handle things a little bit differently because everybody's strategy is differently. But for me, I already own the items, so I'm not really worried about getting full profit because I didn't pay anything for it. I buy the whole car, and once I disassemble it, I already know if I sell a few bits off of it, it's already gonna make me my money back. So I'm not really worried in getting a full revenue. So sometimes when I'm selling an item, I will give like ridiculous offers. Like somebody's looking at my item, and one of the ways that I sell things quickly. People look at my item and I could see that they looked at it because maybe they liked it or whatever. Maybe they put it like a watch list, and I could send them a notification. Let's say I was selling an item for 80 bucks. I'll send a thing to them saying, I'll give it to you for 50 or 45. And a lot of times they say yes and they click on it. Plus they're getting free shipping, so they're getting a heck of a deal. But I'm getting a sale, and that's actually, you know, good for me. So I was a little bit worried in the beginning to make sure that I'm not going to be selling my items below market value or not above. But I'm really not worried about that. I'm listing items for sale at the price that I want to sell them for and what I want to get for it. And then sometimes I compare it to the market, what they're selling for, and adjust my pricing. But typically all I care about is moving things really quickly and just kind of like having this wholesale thing. But I do want to make money on selling an item, and but I want to make enough to where I could still ship the item and still put some money in my pocket. So I'm coming up with my own pricing strategies. So not to confuse you guys, but list items with your phone, print shipping labels with your computer. That's actually a simpler way to do it because I have my eBay app already signed in on my computer. Of course, there's passwords and stuff like that, and once I sign in my computer, I still have to get a notification on my phone to put the code in and, you know, to continue stuff like that. So it's, you know, I basically make sure that my passwords never match like everywhere. Everything's different. So just for privacy issues, because there's a lot of ways that people like to hack and stuff. And I want to make sure I make it as complicated as possible and use all the authentications that you need, you know, because I don't want my account to be gone, obviously. But I tried printing a shipping label from the eBay app, and it was next to impossible because I have the air printer where I could send it. That stuff usually doesn't work too well with me, and then I have to send it to Google Drive and then print it from there. So it becomes a little bit complicated, way too many steps. So the cool thing is on the computer, things are a little bit easier when it comes to shipping because items sold. So I click on my area where for all the items sold, and I could see a list. Okay, this sold, this sold, this sold. So then I click which item I want to ship. So I print all the shipping labels here, you know, in my shipping office, I guess. I have several shipping scales, and I have lots of boxes, which I will talk about, and tape and all this other good stuff. I have a lot of supplies on hand, guys. So basically, when I actually try to ship something, I'm either going to ship on FedEx or I'm going to ship priority mail. So when I pull up the item, it asks me for dimensions. I put the dimensions. It asks me for the weight and stuff. So you put all that in, and then it already automatically has an address where it's going. So typically to California, it's very expensive because I'm on the East Coast. So then I see, okay, priority is charging me to send this box for $25. Yet here's FedEx for 15 bucks. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go with FedEx. So obviously, when I'm trying to ship something, I need to make sure, get like a couple boxes that look very similar. A lot of times, I just pick up a box that's just like a blank box. And I have a lot of priority boxes here. So, but I pick up a blank box that I can ship in that box, and I put the item in there. And when I do, I just wait on the scale, and I put all the dimensions of the box. I put it in there, and then let's say it tells me price 20 bucks to ship on FedEx and 25 to ship with priority. Let's just say that, right? So then I play around with it a little bit. I actually will get a discount, maybe ship it for $15 or for $14. And how do I do that? Okay, well, the box might be like this, but the item might be like that, right? And sure, I could pack it with a lot of like peanuts in it, whatever, and make it like not, bounce around in there. But when you play with dimensions and you actually use the dimensions of this item, the prices go way down. So try to pack the box as small as possible for what you need. So then that happens. But you could click back and forth, and you could see priority, now will change to a cheaper price, and FedEx, to cheaper. So depending on where it's going, let's say like it's going to California, chances are, FedEx is going to be cheaper. But if it's going somewhere in Tennessee, priority is going to be cheaper for that same item. So it's really weird like that. Sometimes I'm like thinking, why did I pay $15 for this FedEx box yesterday, but now the same type of box is $20 today, and now priority is offering me for $18. Kind of weird. But then I look at the addresses. Yeah, the addresses are like way different. So when you shipping priority, you have to pay for shipping right away. So I want to address these questions kind of like right away. You have to pay like right away. So whatever you set it up, like PayPal or whatever, mine's like through PayPal. So you pay right away for priority. But a good hint to somebody maybe that's new, that's starting out, FedEx, you don't pay right away. So that might surprise you because you might be thinking it's right away, and it's really not. So when you're shipping a box, a FedEx box, you're thinking you're being charged because yesterday you shipped priority and you got charged, but FedEx didn't charge you. FedEx will charge you when the box actually delivered, and they're going to give the bill to eBay, and then eBay will bill you along with your full bill with all the final value fees, the store fees, any kind of subscriptions you may have gotten. So that's how they work. It really surprised me one day because, man, I had like $275 in shipping, that I had to pay, and I'm like, what? And I just now paid $375, and I'm thinking that's still kind of like a lot. I know I could list like with my store, I could list up to like 1,000 items. They're allowing me to list right now 50,000 items, and I could list like up to $125,000 worth of items. But still, I got charged quite a bit, so I want to see if I maybe signed up to some services and stuff like that. So now we'll skip over and we'll come back a little bit to that. But now I want to get back to like shipping tape, okay? In the beginning, I bought this regular type of tape, and now I have eBay tape, and of course I still got a lot of regular clear tape because you're going to need it. But here's something you need to know. eBay will give you $50 towards a purchase of shipping supplies, okay? They have boxes, they have all kinds of bubble wrap, and they have all kinds of stuff. But I think the most useful thing to me is tape because I'm going to use a lot of it, and I could get boxes for free anyways. That's what I do. I get free boxes from USPS, and I get free boxes from Amazon because I get a lot of Amazon packages that come in, and I also could get free boxes like at Walmart or whatever. So that's never a problem. And when I'm shipping boxes, I don't care if it's a big box. I cut it down like literally like with I use like a razor, and I'm just like, you know, just you know, like a razor knife, you know, like one of those flip razor. And why am I forgetting the exact word? But box cutter, you know, that's actually what I'm using. So I kind of cut like along the lines, and I'll show you how I downsize boxes. I don't use any special things that they sell to make boxes smaller. So I make boxes sometimes look like this, sometimes like triangles, sometimes I make them look like kind of like round a little bit, like weird shapes, because I'm trying to cut down on the amount of packing material that I gotta use, because that's save on cost, and I could still wrap it nicely and, you know, package it like nice and tough and send it out there, and and plus it saves me money in shipping costs because a box becomes smaller and it becomes way a little less. Now I will talk about the next thing. Sometimes the shipping could be first class, so the item might be, let's say, like this big, right? But it only weighs a pound. So anything under a pound will go out as first class, and it's usually like $3 or 3,050 or something. Could be less. So that's kind of cool. And what I see sometimes is I get this item, right, and by itself it weighs like not even a pound. But when I put it in the box, now it's over a pound. So without the box, it weighs like $3.50, you know, to send it $3.50. But once I put it in the box, it's like now I gotta pay like $8 or $10 to ship it. So then I have to kind of think, okay, like what's going to be the correct option here? Can this item be shipped in like one of those like yellow bubble wrap envelopes? You know, because, you know, maybe it can't be damaged. You know, plus there's bubble wrap. So I try sticking one of those back. Wait, see if it's a pound. I try to cut the box down that I ship it in. I try to get rid of all the standards, get rid of all this extra folds inside of the box just to save on weight and do that. And I still try to make sure it's wrapped nicely with bubble wrap. And I check out every single solution to where I could still send it first class if it weighs like a pound or under. So I will do that to save on cost. Now, as far as shipping goes, I want to also tell you this. There's this application that's called Pirate Ship. So I guess it makes sense, like pirate ship, you know? It's a pirate ship. So just remember that. It's a pirate ship, and that's a website you could go to and you could register. Now, sometimes you could find a better deal for shipping that same item that you would have on eBay, even though you get discounts. If you're sending stuff through eBay, you're getting good discounts to send it through them. And with FedEx, you're getting like a lot of discount. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's 30%. But you're saving a lot of money. But if you would have taken it to the post office, you're going to pay a lot more money. So ship at home. Not only did you save you time by not standing in line, you know, you could be a lot more efficient with your time and save money for the shipping. And here's my own recommendation. If the item you think is going to be too expensive to ship, go to pirateship.com and put in the address where it's going and put in all the dimensions and stuff like that, and then see what they're going to charge you for that. So that's a good way to find out if you could ship something with that, and it's going to give you a discount. So it's going to be cheaper. Probably should have taken my own advice on that, because recently I sold a car grill for $50, which it was $75. That's what I was selling it for, and I offered for shipping. And then when I've seen the person look at the item, I offered him $50 for the item. He bought it, but then I was real surprised because by the time I wrapped the grill, which is kind of curved, and the box, you know, it basically became like wider and longer, plus the shape differently. So the box had to be bigger dimension. Cost me $30 to ship that thing. It went to California, so that was expensive, and I forgot to use pirate ship on that one, but it's my fault. So I only made $20, plus there's gonna be PayPal fees, plus eBay final value fees, stuff like that. Not fun, but I paid it, and that was FedEx for something that weighed like 3.5 pounds. It was pretty light. I think it was 3.5, could have been 4, but priority mail for that same box wanted to charge me $60. Can you believe that? And it was $30 with FedEx. Still expensive. I should have looked at Pirate Ship, but Pirate Ship is actually priority mail as well. It's like USPS mail. So in case you guys are wondering, because the first time I heard about it, I thought some other shipping service. No, it's USPS. So whenever you ship through Pirate Ship, you print your shipping label all the same way. You will take it to USPS post office. I always take my boxes, once I get like 4 or 5 boxes, I take them to USPS or FedEx drop-off location, and that's just the way I do it. Now, I offer free shipping for a reason, because I wanted to say fast and free on my listings. Because here's what it does. Not only that it gives a free shipping to somebody, but it lets the people know I am serious. It lets them know I will ship their item. Like, seriously, I will ship their item, and I'm gonna ship it on time. Because guys, I bought something actually recently, a keyboard for $20 for an Apple computer, which was a great deal because most of them were like 40, 50 bucks. And I thought, wow, 20 bucks, not bad. So I bought it. It was like free shipping. Guys, it took over a month, and it was saying, I guess the market that it was shipped, and I was getting approximate shipping time that it's going to be there. Guys, item never came. It was actually oversold. And when it was 1 month, I started contacting eBay. It turned out that these people just deleted their eBay account and they sold a few items like that. And they offered free shipping, so it was all fake. So it was not like fast and free, because when you're selling fast and free, it's not easy to get that badge. You have to pretty much have expedited shipping, and I want to get into that next, because in order to get qualified for that, eBay will monitor like what you're doing and how fast you're shipping, your items. So if you're shipping your items really quickly, they will actually give you this notification that you could click on it and you could apply for fast and free shipping. So that's actually what I had to do. So sometimes when you list new items, you have to like requalify them, see if they're going to be qualifying. But here's what I do, guys. As soon as the item sells, I immediately find that item, package it up, put a shipping label on it. I used to right away drive it to the FedEx location or USPS. Sometimes I would pay extra for FedEx just so I could get it out, and accept it, because it's like on a weekend, like on a Saturday or something. I want them to go ahead and scan, accept it, that I know that it's there, so that eBay will say, you know what, this guy's responsible. But technically, I got 3 days to ship that item. So I got 3 days, but I get it out there quicker. And you know what? It's a good thing that I do, because some of the items that I got out right away arrived late because of post office. Because of this COVID stuff that's going on, they were not shipping them as fast as they can. And I made a mistake on one of them. I put, priority ground instead of, I shipped USPS, but instead of shipping priority, I sent it ground, and it was only a few pennies difference. And the only reason I sent it ground and not priority was because I didn't have a priority box, and I thought I needed priority box. And then I talked to the post office. They said, no, you don't need a priority box. So that's another thing I want to get out of the way. You want to ship priority? You can ship priority. You just need to, you just need to basically put in a regular box. However, there's certain boxes that you're going to be like certain stuff you're going to be sending might be priority, but you didn't ship priority. It was ground. Now, they're not going to, deal with you on that. Like, that's not going to work, okay? So, yeah, that's not going to work. And then if you ship something that's first class, you cannot put in a priority box. First class. So you would think you can, but you can't. I had an item that came back to me, which then in turn came to the customer a lot later, and I had an issue with it. So because it came late, I sold it for 20 bucks. I paid shipping on it, so money out of my pocket, and then it arrived a little bit late, but the customer actually included the wrong address. So he was like in Florida, but he included his Utah address on his eBay. So it went to his Utah address, but he needed in Florida. And he contacted eBay, and basically he got his money back. Like, I made a mistake. I didn't. It just went to a different address. But the shipping, still took a little while, because, it came back to me first, and then I had to ship it out. So it's kind of confusing. So I do want to say that when you send in first class, send like a yellow envelope, or like any kind of box that's blank. Also, when you're shipping, make sure to take a black marker, or, and like, if there's any barcodes, just go ahead and like write over them, or take some kind of white paper or something, or your shipping label, and cover over it and just like tape it. So for the shipping labels, I use regular computer paper to print all my shipping labels to save in costs. And what I do is I put clear tape over it, so it seals it really nicely on the box. And that's the way I'm actually doing it right now. Sure, you could buy shipping labels and you could do it that way, and maybe in the future I will. I had some like that, but I ran out. But I'm thinking, look, this computer paper is working good anyways for me, and it's really cheap. So I print those labels, and I'm printing receipts at the same time, which is great. And then I basically cut the receipt off for the USPS, and then I put it in my like a little box, because I want to make sure I keep all my receipts when I do taxes, because they should be tax deductible. That's going to be really important. But FedEx, when you print a shipping label, they do not print your receipt for some reason, and plus they don't actually charge you until later on. So what I actually do when I'm printing that shipping label, where you could see still the price, I go ahead and I print that page so that I get that page, where it was going, how much did I paid, all that kind of stuff, the tracking numbers, and so I technically print my own receipt. So that also saves on the cost. And then I have a separate type of envelope. Well, it's not an envelope, it's like I organize everything like in files, so I stick that in a FedEx file. So I want to make sure all that stuff is organized and neat. Very, very important. So some of the stuff to get started, what you're going to need, obviously, in this, you're going to need to have shipping scales. Now, there is actually really cheap shipping scales that I use the most often. I think they only cost like 35, 40 bucks. Bought them on Amazon, works great. And then I bought another shipping scale where I paid $200 or $250 for. I can't remember now. But I use it the least, but it can weigh up to 400 pounds. So with some of the stuff that I sell, that could be a very convenient scale. However, this little scale, it's about this big, 35, it is very precise. It can measure ounces and it could measure pounds, and I think it's up to, I don't know, maybe like 40, 50, 60 pounds. Most of the stuff I ship, they don't weigh that much anyway. So I stick it right in that little thing, and it shows me exactly what it is, and I ship it. And I always want to make sure everything is correct. I'm shipping it exactly the same weight and everything. It's pretty precise. And actually, I round off a little bit. Like if it's like 1 pound and 4 ounces, I'll put like 1 pound like in 5 ounces, for instance, right? If it makes any sense. Because I don't want any hiccups happen anywhere down the line, and I want to make sure all the dimensions are correct, and you know, all that stuff is correct. But it's cheap to get started with that. Also, as far as tape goes, I was talking about this, and I don't think I got the chance to finish, but eBay allows you to have a $50 gift card to spend in their store, where you could buy shipping tape. So I buy like a lot of shipping tape from them for $50 worth, a whole box, because they give it to me free every 3 months. And as a matter of fact, they just gave me another code, so I'm actually getting ready to use that code. But that code is very hard to find, like where the store is and how to use it and stuff like that. It's a little bit confusing, but you're gonna have to access it from your from eBay Manager store. You have to click on some things over there. Maybe look it up on YouTube where it is, because they hide it really deeply in there, so it's kind of hard to find where exactly to apply your coupon and how to do it. So but yeah, but that being said, that's not the thing. I just want to let you know that you can get free shipping tape, but to get clear tape, it's very important. I try to get a big quantity, maybe like 48 rolls at the same time, or 36 right on Amazon, or I guess you could do eBay, but I find the cheapest one, and I've been using mine. It works great. I could put a link in the description below what I started with. So I'm still on the same type of tape. I still got a bunch of those left, and my eBay tape just came in, and I'm about to order more eBay tape. What I notice is tape, that's going to be used like the most. Because I'm taping boxes in and out and upside down, like I'm taping them all over the place. So a lot of tape is being used. I'm going through a lot of rolls and stuff like that. So tape is going to be like the most important thing. Boxes, don't spend your money on. You could get free USPS boxes. You could go to USPS.com, set up yourself an account. I set up a business account with everything. USPS, FedEx, and I set one up with eBay, obviously, for my store. I do have a store that's like an $80 store per month. So what I do is I basically use all my own cardboard boxes, and I cut them down to size, the ones I have. But when it comes to USPS, I ordered a lot of different size boxes, and I have them on a shelf, and everything's organized. I have like metal shelving here. I'll get into that in like some future videos. I'll show you kind of like my setup. For now, it's working for me, and I could kind of, what I did is some of those boxes I put together so I could see the dimensions right away visually, and I'm like, okay, okay, like that item's gonna fit in the box, or it won't. But I start out always with a brown box because I first want to weigh the item and find out, is it going to be cheaper to ship at FedEx, or is it going to be cheaper to ship at Priority? Because what happened many times is, to me, I go ahead and package it up in a Priority box nicely. Like, I really get it done, and I even cut it down to size a little bit to save in cost. But then I end up looking at it, and FedEx is much cheaper than Priority. So then I end up opening it up, and then I have to package it up and, you know, like a regular brown box, and cut it down to size, which gives me a little bit more work. So now I've learned from that, and now I start out with a brown box, and I make a decision whether to send in a brown box or Priority. And I have a lot of brown boxes because obviously I order a lot of Amazon stuff, so they come in and I have a lot of them. I have a bunch of bubble wrap and, you know, foam and stuff to wrap my packages. That's also going to be important. But what I use is you know those bubble mailers that sometimes come into your home, like from Amazon or whatever? I save those bags because that's a perfect type of you know, bag, and sometimes I even use them to ship stuff. I put an item in there, I will fold it every which way, I put tape on it so make it like as small as possible, like a little, like a square or whatever, and I put a shipping on that because usually shipping labels like about that big. So I'll stick the shipping label on that, and that's usually light, and it allows me to send stuff for basically free packaging material, you know, because I recycled. Also, it's like free bubbling stuff. But early on, when, you know, before I started selling on eBay, I invested a lot of stuff. I have like my own scanner to scan books, which is like a Bluetooth scanner. You could actually use that over the computer as well. And I bought a lot of different size bubble mailers. Just subscribe, guys. I'm going to show you a lot of this stuff. And I know a lot of other people have this on their channels as well, that's doing eBay. But I've looked around on YouTube. There's not many people that do eBay. But some people, they already are so far into YouTube, like several years. So some of this little stuff that I'm talking about, they're not going to be like really covering, because they already passed that. They already talked about it, but that video is going to be probably buried, you know. So as I'm going along, I'm like learning a lot of this stuff. So I'm sharing a lot of stuff that you guys might like run into and try to hit a wall, or think about, should I offer free shipping? Should I charge for shipping? It's going to be up to you guys, because if you're going out there and doing like retail arbitrage and you're picking up these different items and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you could make a profit on those items. So people these days are used to paying shipping, but I'm still kind of like old-fashioned. If I'm going to go on eBay and I see a headlight for 50 bucks, right? And I see shipping is on it is $20, and I see another headlight next to it for $70. It says free shipping. I'm going to click on $70 free shipping, fast and free or whatever. So, because I'm already knowing that I'm not going to get cheated, I'm going to get that item, and I feel that I'm not paying for shipping. I don't know, it's like a psychology thing, you know? It's like you're paying the same price anyways because they put the shipping into the cost, but when people see free, they feel better. They feel that they're not getting ripped off, you know? But mostly people, they're okay with paying shipping anyways. But some people have a strategy where, like, if they have any returns, they basically send out like free shipping. Well, when the return comes in, they also paying for that return. So now it's just like lost money both ways. And I already done that. I shipped an air mattress, and it was like $20 to ship it. People returned it, and it cost $50 for me to receive it. Man, if I knew that, I would have let them have this mattress. Say, don't ship it back to me, because I don't want to have to pay for the shipping label. You know what I mean? But it was expensive because they really don't care, and they put it in however big box that they want to put it in, and they're not going to try to save on shipping costs, and I'm going to end up paying for it. So a lot of times I'm thinking, if it's a return, is it even worth taking it back? Sometimes I'm just telling the people, like, listen, you could just keep the item and I refund them. Sometimes I negotiate with them. I said, you know, like, can we do a partial return? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes it's a no. You know, it worked out in some cases. But yes, I do get some returns. It's unfortunate, but I do. And when I paid shipping, yeah, I just ate that price. So not really smart decision on that. So it's something for you to think about. because that will happen. But one of the ways that I am winning though, I already own the items. I don't have any money in inventory. Like I already own the inventory. So when I list, it feels like free money anyways because, you know, I sold it. So it's not a huge loss to me. Plus, when other stuff sells, you know, it's pretty good. So what else can we talk about, guys? That's kind of like it right there. This is like really simple, but when it comes to organization, organizing items, and this is what I'm coming back to, which I said earlier, if you're selling parts or anything, let's say you're selling whatever, like items, they don't have to be parts. So get a bin, try to get a small one. Don't get like a really huge one because that's going to be like really heavy. And let's say you're like in your garage, right? And you're looking for things to sell or maybe things around the house. Just throw that stuff in that bin. Just walk around, throw the stuff in your bin. So if it's parts, fill that bin with parts. Once it's full, okay, done deal. So then when that box is full, come back and remove item by item. Have another bin ready, by the way. Remove item by item. Take a picture of the item, stuff like that, list it, put it in that bin. List it, put it in that bin, put it in that bin. But when you're listing and you're putting it in this bin or other bins like it, what you want to do is you want to organize it. Let's say you want to write a number 1 on this bin or a letter A. And you maybe have an A section, B section, C section. Well, it needs to be kind of like just the A box, B box. You know what I mean? So you might be just filling up a whole new bin, right? So maybe A is empty and you need to fill up, you know, A. So you're like, when you're listing an item, somewhere in the description or somewhere write like A in there, because people might not see what, you know, might not know exactly what it is, but you will know, like somewhere at the end or somewhere at the front. Well, I would use it like at the end, and you just mark it so you know where to look for that item. So organization is key. You want to be able to find these items that you actually sold and not really like worry about like, oh man, like where is that item, you know? So with parts it's a little different. Sometimes I could go and remove that part because I already sold it, but I just listed it again and I sold it again, and I could just go remove it from one of the vehicles. But it's good to have things ready and organized and on the shelf, and that's the way I like it. But there's going to be a situation where after a while you have all these bins A, B, C, D, you know, through Z. Some of the bills are going to be like half full now. Some of them are going to be like half full. Some of them are still full. So you might want to, you know, conserve space instead of coming up with a bunch of other letters and numbers and buying more shelving. I'd say, you know what, kind of like walk around the room and say, okay, this A is half full, take it. Set it down on a table next to you. Okay, this B is half full, take it. So whenever you list an item, you're like, you know what, this looks like it's going to fit good in this B right here. So you stick it in there and you write B in the description. So that way you're using your space a lot wisely and you're using up all that space, you know, because you don't want to keep buying more bins. And, you know, I just spent like $375 in bins. I'm going to have to get more, but I bought a lot of little ones. Apparently not enough. I'm going to have to buy more little ones because, man, they're so handy. Because some of the bigger ones I have, like, it's like kind of like a next size up. Once I fill them up with parts, guys, it becomes ridiculously heavy, and it's like I can't pick it up. Like, it's, you know, it's just a lot. So you don't want to really do that, like where you're gonna be struggling with the box. I want to keep them light as possible. So, you know, just have bins like, I don't know, like this, like bigger than it. Let's say about like 3 shoe boxes. You know, that type of size, or 2 shoe boxes. Like that would be kind of like good enough because you could really put a lot of items in there. They would store nicely on many shelves that you could buy, and it's going to be, you know, really nice. But some of the bigger ones that I have, they'll fit on my shelves anyways because they're not that big. But let's say like for parts, if it's like headlights, you can't really put them in that small bin, so you're gonna have to put in that big bin. So you could put like 2 headlights side by side, and you could put that on the shelf. You know, I don't know if you would use bins for your headlights, but whenever you're taking parts apart, let's say like in your yard or whatever, or in your garage, isn't it easier to just go ahead and put, you know, like parts in the bin? That's actually what I do. So once they fill up, it's like to keep it like this thing is more like a business for eBay. You could like bring all those bins in, and you're like, you know what, I have like 10 bins here full of parts. Then you sort of could give yourself a job, you know, like maybe list like 1 bin per day, or maybe like list like 1 bin per hour, or however way you want to look at it. Or maybe you say, you know what, I'll list this bin right now, all these parts, maybe this is enough work for today. If I feel like I could work some more, or you could take a break once you list that bin. Or if you hire somebody, you could say, you know what, your job is just to list bins by bins, do however many you can, and and like that. But it is keeping things organized, and this is the way I'm doing things now. So it's like live and learn, slowly but surely. Also, when I started eBay, some of the items that I was selling, I also keep like in my storage. And inside of the storage, I wasn't really sure how I was going to do things because I have like kitchen cabinet doors. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to ship them anyways because they're kind of big. But I realized that it's not so bad because I offer free shipping, and some of those doors are, they're not cheap. They're anywhere from 60 to 90 bucks. A lot of times I could put them together and I separate them and stuff like that, like with bubble wrap and stuff, and I keep everything clean. But if I sell 3 doors, I'm going to, to the same customer, I'm going to put them all together and ship and cost. It saves him money, saves me money, and I should ship it out to them. So far, I did not have any problems with any returns on kitchen cabinet doors. Thank God. But I've been overdoing on the packaging, like just doing an overkill. But also having a table, which I did talk about, very, very important, and having your own space to where you could just go and you could work without getting interrupted. For me, this works right here. So that's about it right now, guys. Feel free to ask me questions about stuff that maybe I did not address. That way I could look at your comments and make a video about that kind of stuff, like what actually questions you would have, because I already made a few videos and they're like a little bit different style, and I showed a few different things. And what I also want to focus on, and maybe like some of the other videos, show you guys my work process, like how do I collect my inventory and I do all that stuff, listing item, how do I ship the item when it sells, what am I doing in like an office, like to show like my setup, like my organization. Maybe this is going to give somebody like some sense of I guess like having an idea of like what they want to do, but there's so much you could do with that, guys. It's unbelievable. And especially now with what's going on, a lot of people like losing their jobs because of this corona thing. This can give you a job. Like I have realized I could make anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a month easy on eBay. And this is like not even part-time. This is below part-time. Imagine if I do this full-time. Like I could make a really nice living just selling parts. So organization is going to be key, and actually working your business is going to be key. And it's so easy to not work because it's your own business and you're like thinking, okay, I don't feel like listening today. And that's been kind of like my thing, even though listing is super easy, but I have other stuff that I'm doing. Like I'm fixing cars and I'm working on customer cars, and basically I have a family, and it's just like a lot of stuff that's going on. So I have to manage that sometimes, but I already have everything set up to where, man, like as soon as something sells, I could come in here and I could just work. I could get it done. I don't have to really worry about it, and I have all my shipping supplies. So that's really important, and I do want to show like in some other videos like what shipping supplies I use and whatnot. But I'm telling you, tape is the most important. Having some kind of bubble wrap and some kind of like soft something you could wrap the packages in, that's important. And get your free boxes at USPS.com by creating an account there. Do that, and you could get some free boxes out of like dumpsters in the back of the stores. You could just go and ask Walmart for them. So it's a couple ways of actually doing it. And as far as retail arbitrage, I've done it, guys, as well. I went to Goodwill and I sourced some stuff, guys. I sold everything that I bought. I did sell, and I sold it for way more expensive, so I definitely got my money back and then some. So that was actually pretty good. But I'm not a fan of buying a bunch of items, sticking them on a shelf, and knowing that I have a lot of money in that inventory and things not moving. That would kind of bother me because that's like money not well used, unless it's something very, very good deal, which that's actually typically what I buy. But it's hard to know sometimes. As far as selling clothing, I'm going to show you guys how to do this real nice. So like shirts like this. This is like why I'm wearing one in this video. I could show you guys how to fold this type of shirts and stuff. I hit a big sale and I bought like, I don't know, like 40 of these shirts, probably like for 50 bucks. And I'm going to be selling maybe like for $15 or $20, depending on what the shipping's going to be. I'm going to have to weigh the item. If it can go out first class, then probably 15, 18 bucks would work. But I'm going to show you how to do that and how to make it look like legit, like the stores do it, by putting like a plastic bag inside where it shows like all the information for the choke and hazard and stuff like that, and how to fold this up like you won't believe, guys. You're gonna look at that and you're gonna say, man, that's awesome. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. God bless you and stay safe, guys. Bye bye.